Physically, how are your side, reacting after the game against?
There's a lot of tired legs today. Certainly over the weekend, Blair has played a very big part, and I was delighted for him to get on the score sheet again. He was very tired, and fatigue was setting in the 3 games in the week after the heavy pitch here, certainly at Field Mill. We'll wrap them up. We'll work with them this week. We'll make sure that they come. We'll try and get as fresh as possible come the next game.
Luke Jones, how's he progressing?
Jono, yeah, he's doing well. He's stepping up his work. So we're probably about 2 weeks away. We've got a reserve game behind closed doors tomorrow at Doncaster. So that's too early for him, unfortunately. But it gives the opportunity for the players on the fringe, certainly who haven't played as much as they would like to have done, an opportunity to go and play against a very strong Doncaster side. I'm sure it will be.
Ollie Hotchkiss in contention for that
No.
reserve game?
No, Ollie has been. He had a setback on Monday, and then while I was doing his rehab, has seemed to have strained the stomach muscle now. So he's been really unfortunate. The young man, he's very upset by that. But he was doing his rehab and has seemed to have strained the stomach muscle. So we're going to hopefully get another look at him tomorrow morning. And it seems to have been a hard one to take for Ollie and for me, because he's such a wonderful player.
You've mentioned fringe players. You've mentioned, I assume by that also refers to younger players in your squad. At the back end of this season, will there be opportunities to maybe look at the future of Mansfield Town and those younger players?
If necessarily so, yes. There's a lot of players playing for opportunities for next season, so I wouldn't run the risk of being fragile, which should be detrimental to other teams and managers in this league. We have a duty to perform as well as we can. But I get to see these players every day in games, so I know exactly what their qualities are. And if they've got the right temperament and the right attitude, then they might get an opportunity on the Field Mill turf. But I see them every day, so I know what their capabilities are, and I know throughout the season what their attitude's been. It shouldn't be just thinking, oh well, there's a few games off, let's throw it away. I won't do that. I want to win every game we play in. If it means giving them the games in contention to first team football, all of the players that we've had here, David, have played on loan. Most of them gone out on loan, so I know what they're. I have them watched every week. I have a report on their games every week, so I'm very much up to date with their ability, whether they can take the game forward. I've got a lot of decisions on young players to make, and I feel that sometimes these young players and fringe players, if you like, think, oh well, we might put a performance on at the end of the season. No, it doesn't happen. You've got to do it over 12 months or the term of your contract to earn another one. I think that then over the years at this club, too many contracts have been given out willy-nilly, and just a case of doing a month's football. That's rubbish. That shouldn't happen. If you're going to earn a contract at this football club, I believe you should have to do it on merit and doing it over the term of the season. That's application of professionalism throughout the time. I don't believe the players should be able to earn a contract over 2 performances.
Talking of contracts and looking to next year, in an ideal world, David, I imagine you'd like to keep the squad that you've got and all the size of squad that you've got. There will normally be 1 or 2 changes within a close season, but you've talked often about the financial side of this club and keeping to budgets. Will there be a reduction in your squad size next year? Is this a conversation that you've had with the chairman at all?
Well, I've looked at a lot of things in the last 8 weeks, probably just before Christmas actually, on size of squad, and we've been very practical in terms of letting players out on loan. I think that development, it's aided Tom Naylor, Grant Ryan, Ben Turner, and various others. Obviously, I've sent other players out on loan to get games, but also to make sure the economic structure of this football club's correct, which I think is a responsibility of a manager, not to try and destabilise it. Really, it's important in this age where, especially where over Christmas, where the club was tough, where we had no games. So the chairman knows that I'll always be practical and work with him on making sure the money's right at this football club. We've not stepped over any mark that's been given, and that's me being an accountant as well as somebody that has to wheel and deal. And I think whilst some of them things have to remain private, if I have to reduce the squad, then I will do. That's no problem to me. But I'll work quietly with the chairman. We've got a nucleus of players that we want to keep, and certainly. If we feel that players here, and this is what I'm saying to your prior question, don't show me in the last remainder that they're worthy of a contract, then they'll be gone. Simple.
Andy Burgess, before the Kettering game, labelled Kettering as overachievers with the squad that they've got. If Mansfield were to finish in 8th place, say, for example, this season, would that represent an underachievement for the players that you've got in your squad, David?
The players, in terms of finance, no.
But in terms of the makeup of the squad, the quality of players...
Well, when you have 21 players out of contract, and your evaluation of that is that, some of them you kept, some of them you didn't, you have to make sure you've got a balance. And where other clubs have thrown money at it, and unfortunately some of them it's going to be very costly. We haven't done that. We've made sure we've been prudent and managed the books accordingly. In terms of finance, certainly not, because there's been a lot of clubs out there, and the chairman and I discuss this very frequently, is that there's going to be 2 or 3 or maybe 4 teams that are really going to struggle to maintain that, given the terms of their fan base, because they've thrown caution to the wind a little bit this season, and it might come back to bite them on the bum. Who knows?
So from your point of view then, David, do I get the feeling that you're saying that you with the squad you've got, with the finance in place, you feel at this point in time you're actually punching above your weight?
I feel that at the start of the season up to Christmas, we were certainly punching above our weight regarding but is it punching above your weight, or are you doing your best when other clubs might be not doing as well as they could? I'm not a judge of other clubs. I'm not interested in what other clubs do. We've just kept a quiet rein on things here, and tried to do as best as we can. Certainly, I feel that there's games that we haven't achieved as much as we wanted to in, and that's been the learning curve. There's been points that we should have had in the bag, and none more so than this week. This week, we look at the Altrincham game. Have we had enough ability in that squad to change the game? We didn't, and we came away with just a draw. Just a draw at this time of the season is not good enough. Go to Kettering and get a point. You'd always take the point prior to the season, wouldn't you? But at this stage, it becomes vital that you get 3. So there's been a learning curve for some of the players, but likewise, if they haven't got that mental approach for next season, then they will find themselves in an unfortunate position.
6 games left of the season for you. Louis Briscoe, talking to us after the game, has said that Mansfield can take each game as it comes now, and he also said that the pressure's off. Would you agree with that?
If he plays, the pressure might be off. No, I like the pressure on. I want the players to play with freedom, and I think they have done. They've played some great football in the last few games, tremendous stuff. And I want them to enjoy their football likewise, but I want them to challenge. I want them to be up there and have that appetite to win games, and I like winning. Anybody that knows me won't. The pressure's never off, because I expect a high level of standards.
What about you, David? After the game on Saturday, you spoke to us, and Mark Stevenson, your pressman, videoed it, and the fans will have seen your reaction to us. You were quiet, to say the least, and in the last couple of games you have, I thought, maybe been a little bit subdued after the game. Obviously disappointing results, but personally at this stage of the year, how are you feeling?
I was frustrated after the game on Saturday. I was frustrated because we didn't come away with 3 points. I take it very personal. I enjoy my football. I love being a manager, and I like winning. Anybody and you should know me by now, is that I take the game very, very seriously. And sometimes I might want to fight, sometimes I might want to be quiet. But there's that appetite inside me that wants to drive me on, and I make no bones about it. If someone would have said something wrong on Saturday night, I'd have had the umbrella. But because I like winning, there's nothing wrong with that.
Has this period in your managerial career been the toughest for you so far?
No. You've got to learn, haven't you? You've got to learn about where you're managing. And I've learned a lot about this football club in the last year. It's been fantastic. You learn it. It'll hold me in great strides for later in my career. I've enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy every day. Some of the things that go on are a pain in the arse, but at the end of the day, some of the things that go on here are wonderful. You've got to enjoy it, haven't you? Surely.
You mentioned your players have been on a learning curve in the last couple of months. I imagine from your point of view as well, you've learnt a lot.
I've learned a lot about this division. Certainly, about some managers and places that we play. I was speaking to a manager last night, and he was less complimentary about another manager who speaks out of turn all the time, and we try not to do that here. We try and be professional, but when certain managers give themselves a pat on the back, which some of them constantly do, others raise an eyebrow, and the best approach of that is just, we'll get out on the pitch and beat them.